morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy good morning to you, wherever you are. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and today, Clara Luper is here to say to you, Happy Mother's Day, and this is our Mother's Day special. Today's program is being brought to you by Gates Barbershop. Gates Barbershop, the barbershop where you know you will be satisfied. Located at 2609 North Martin Luther King in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Mr. Gates and Mr. Gamble would like to take time out to say to each one of you, wherever you are, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day from the Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. When we think about eyes, we think about Dr. A.L. Dow, located at 934 Northeast 8th Street here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And I will have more to say about Dr. Dow later in the show. Happy Mother's Day from Hometown IGA. From Danny and his entire staff extends to you Mother's Day greetings, and it's not too late for you to stop by Hometown IGA and buy those groceries for your Mother's Day celebration. When we think of Mother's Day, we think all eyes are turned toward mothers. And I would like to personally stop at this minute and wish each one of you a happy Mother's Day, and I shall tell you young people and middle-aged people and old people how you can make your mothers happy. Mother's Day greetings from Johnson Shardina's preschool and nursery. A nursery, a preschool, a place where your children can get the best of training. A program that's available, an educational program, a preschool computer literacy program. You can work with Paul and Gloria Matthews. You can work with the secretary, Dina Red, and you may call them. Let me give you some telephone numbers. Johnson Shardina's nursery and preschool. The telephone number is 424-4656. Let me repeat that. 424-4656 or 427-5274 or 427-7856. They are now open 24 hours. Johnson Shardina's preschool and nursery, located at 1643 Northeast 50th Street and 1917 Northeast 24th Street. The Clara Luper radio show. And this show today is dedicated to mothers everywhere. Mothers past, present, and future. The Mother's Day special being brought to you by Clara Luper. A happy Mother's Day. A happy Mother's Day to all of you. And before the program is over, I'm going to give you the opportunity to say Happy Mother's Day to your favorite mothers. Miss Black, Oklahoma, June 18th, 1998. Miss Black, Oklahoma, the social event of the season. So many of you have called me and said, Miss Luper, where can I get tickets? Well, some of the young ladies are asking me to tell you that you can get tickets from them. And you can call out here and get your ticket. The tickets are only $20. The affair is semi-formal, and you've got to look good because you're going to be televised, and you always look good. You've never seen so many good-looking and well-dressed people as you will see at the 1994 Miss Black Oklahoma pageant. We have been talking about the pageant all along, and we have not told you about our pages, and we have some pages. The PAGE program was created some time ago in order that we could train our young people. You know, it's easy to talk about what young people are doing, but it boils down to what are we doing to train our young people. Well, the PAGE program is a very popular program, and once a young person or a young lady or an escort become involved in the program, they will not get out of the program until graduation. Very few, I think we've had only 3 to jump out of the PAGE program out of hundreds that have participated. Some of the pages for 1994 are Veronica Bowie, Krista Combs, Janelle Whitaker, Lois Jones, Cramishala Cross, Alicia Hildred, Thais Ray, Jasmine Battle, Connie McGee, Elgina Sadberry, Lois Jones, Latoya Smith, Sharita Sutton, Javon Smith, Lucretia Fields, Kanisha Watson, Rochelle Roberts, Christina Carbon, Cece Thomas, Megan Black. There are 2 from Muskogee that will be selected on May 14th. Ebony Vick, Laura Fugit, Matrice Banks, Sharonda Bowie, Tasha Deltz, Alice Knight, Kia Hornbeek, Donna Stevenson, Gwendolyn Rose, and Stephanie Smallwood, Jennifer McMullen, and I've got to talk about Coco. Cease Coco Thomas, ready to go. Our pages range from the age of 4 to 16. Working with the pages this year will be Jamie Lurtz, Mrs. Stevenson, Maxine Sutton, Rosetta Coleman, Twyla Terry, Maxine Williams, Wilma Ray, Eunice Russell, Cheryl Fowler, Leola Ford. And as you know, Cheryl Fowler is a director with Mrs. Leola Ford as the associate director. And they are ready to go. The pages, just like the contestants, will move into the 5th Season Hotel on June 12th, 1994. If you would like to buy a ticket from a page or a contestant, be sure and let us know. Never before in the history of this state have we had so many young ladies that are competing for Miss Black Oklahoma. We will be going through rounds, and this week we will have round 1, and we will see who would be left. I would like to say a happy Mother's Day to the mothers of the pages and the mothers of the contestants, and I hope I'm including everyone. Speaking of including everyone, we do have some exciting things to tell you about today, and here's my ace reporter, Calvin Luper.
Not only am I your ace reporter, but I'm the happiest young man in this entire nation this very beautiful day, because it is indeed an honor to be here on the Clara Luper Radio Show, and it is indeed an honor just to be here with you, Mom. And before I go off into, I know we have a lot of things that we have to do, but I want to wish you a very happy Mother's Day, because I know that you're the very best mother in the world, and you've done so much for so many, and I want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Merlin's heart, from the bottom of Shelley's heart, Harold's heart, and all of the people, all of the other brothers and sisters that I have out there, that we want to wish you the very best for Mother's Day, and want every day to be a very special day to you, because you are very special to us. And Mom, you know what? Since I have this opportunity here on the mic, I want to send this song out to you, because you are indeed my everything and our everything. And this goes out to my mom, and to a mom that's been a mom to a lot of us out there in the community, but to a very beautiful woman who's given it all and will do it all. We want you to know, Mom, that we love you, and you are my everything. Indeed you are, Mom. I just wanted to let that go out a little bit and let this entire world, let this state know, let this community know that you are my everything. You are very important to all of us. And I'm very fortunate in the fact that I have an opportunity just to be here this morning. But more importantly than that, I know that you've done so much to help so many. And I just want to say thanks. Thanks for being a beautiful mom. But more importantly than that, thanks for being a beautiful mom to this entire state. And we love you. So we can go ahead now. We can talk about anything that you'd like to, because of the fact that I've gotten that out, and I know that you know that we do love you. I know that you know that the Miss Black Oklahoma contestants do love you. I know that you know that the Miss Black Oklahoma pages do love you. I know that you know that those of us on the staff of the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant do love you. So now we're ready, because we're looking forward to that big day when all of the contestants will be here, when all the pages will be here, when the parents of the contestants and the pages will be here, and especially when those Dodge boys will be there.
The new Dodge boys.
The new Dodge boys will be there. That Green Howard and
Narmore.
And Narmore, right? I don't know how I always get Narmore mixed up, but you know, they will be there. But then we all love you, Mom, and we're looking forward to that. And because of that love, we know that this year's pageant will be the very best pageant, because not only will we be putting forth some effort, we'll be putting forth the very best effort. And those of you out there in the community, on June the 18th at 7:30 p.m., you will have an opportunity to see the very best production that you've ever seen. Now, you're going to be hearing a lot about it, and you're going to be hearing who all will be in it. But
I
then the
can tell you
driving
something,
force behind it will be Clara Luper. And
let me tell you something that's exciting. Uh, Rose State has finally selected a young lady that will represent them in the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant.
I wonder who that young lady could be.
A lovely, talented young lady named Lisa Jackson.
Lisa Jackson, congratulations on being Miss Rose State and be the representative this year at the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant. Lisa Jackson, girl, you got an opportunity to drive one of those new neons, and I hope that you have your driver's license and your insurance. If you don't, I want you to make sure that you contact my sister Marilyn Hildred with Allstate Insurance. She will be happy to insure you.
For the first time in the history of Miss Black Oklahoma, we will have 13 judges.
13?
13. Maurice Carter will be here from Kansas City, William Harris from New York City, Dorothy Hunter from Wichita, Kansas, Dr. Gloria Griffin from Edmond, Oklahoma, Dr. Clifton Martin from Waco, Texas, Mrs. R.G. Wallace from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Mr. Ronald Blow from Austin, Texas, Dr. Valerie Wynn, Lawton, Oklahoma, Barbara, your well-known KOCO television reporter, Lanita Martin from Dallas, Texas, Lloyd Collier from Ardmore, Dr. Floyd James from Houston, Texas, and Cindy Dodd from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Your tabulating judges and the head of the judging for Miss Black Oklahoma, Letty Ruth Hunter, her co-sponsor Elnora Douglas, Marion Ewan, Richard Brown. Those are the judges, and those are the one that will finally determine who will be the one. And congratulations to Lisa Jackson. And on May 14th, which is next Saturday, Muskogee will select that young lady that will represent them. I'm looking forward today, and I rushed back from Dallas, Texas, and we got here this morning in order that we could be with you on this Mother's Day. I have missed saying Happy Mother's Day and giving the people an opportunity to say Happy Mother's Day to their mothers for the past 20 years, and I didn't want to miss it. Calvin?
Well, I wasn't sure what you were going to do. I was a little worried, and I looked at the weather, and I said, my goodness.
And Marilyn had the opportunity yesterday in Dallas, Texas, to make a presentation which was quite unusual.
You mean Marilyn Hildred, the dynamic Allstate agent?
Yes,
that's
actually,
your daughter?
Marilyn was on the empowerment committee along with a representative from Dallas and one from Baltimore, Maryland. And Marilyn did a terrific job. She was able to take some dollars and demonstrate how those dollars leave the minority community and how the majority community can keep building. She selected 30 people out of the audience, and with those 30 people, she demonstrated so that everybody could understand it. And I would like to thank Alicia Hildred, Mrs. Salonia Bennett, I would like to thank
Mrs. Ford, Mr. Myers, Cameron,
all of those that were a part of it. But I'm looking forward to hearing from Eva, who is coming home to Eva Knight, Eva Ware's coming home.
Mom, we're looking forward to Eva Knight, Eva Ware now coming back to Oklahoma City.
She's in Oklahoma City because her father is real ill.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome home, Eva. I'm sorry that brought you here, but I know that we are glad that you are here in Oklahoma City. She's going to train those models this year, and Eva has had experience. She was one of the winners of my pageant, the Miss Brunsfield pageant. She also has been modeling in New York City, and now she is really on the ball. Calvin, we have a very important election that will be coming up on Tuesday. And I would like for you to listen as we bring to you a special. There's a very special tape over there that we're going to play. But that election is important. But if you're not registered to vote, we want to make sure that it's too late now to vote for Tuesday's election, but you need it to be registered to vote. And but there's a young man that is running for an office is very important to all of us. And you sit back, you relax, and you listen to this, and you pay deep attention, because this young man is concerned about this community, our community, and wants to do the best for this great state of ours. Tell them about it, Dean.
This is Dan Weber, Democratic candidate for Congress for the 6th Congressional District. I am committed to representing the entire 6th District and have come to you for your views and comments to demonstrate my interest. My opponent has not. I will represent the whole 6th District. Please join your family and friends in voting for me, Dan Weber, Tuesday, May 10th, for Congress.
The views and opinions expressed and/or the representation of products advertised on the following program do not necessarily represent those of KTLV or its management.
Calvin, what is the difference between Dan Webster and Frank Lucas? Which is a Democrat and which is a Republican?
Well, Dan Weber is the Democrat, and Dan is... He's been around, and the way that he's been around has been a very important way. He's been a tremendous asset to Senator Boren and thereby to this entire state and to all of us who are constituents of the District 6. But Dan Weber is the Democrat. Dan Weber is the man that I do believe that might can make a difference there in Congress. You know, we're going to have a difficult time there since Senator Boren is leaving, but we need someone up there that knows Oklahoma, that understands Oklahoma, particularly Oklahoma City and the complexities of this district. Dan Weber seems to be that man. He is that man because on crime, he stands full, he stands firm, and he's about a Fair Sentencing Act. You know, everybody talks about let's stop crime, let's do something about crime. Dan Weber has a plan. Dan Weber's plan, I believe, will work, and I'm voting for Dan Weber.
How does he feel on health care?
Well, that on health care, Dan Weber has come out for all of the people will have a full access to quality health care for everyone. Now that's going to be difficult, but then Dan has the contacts, he has the knowledge, and he has the strength and the dedication to get up there, to get out here in the community, and to make sure that all of the citizens have an opportunity for quality health care. Then on education, Dan has a strong stand for public education. He knows that all of us have to live in this community, that all of us need to be able to read, to write, and to count, and he strongly supports public education.
Well, I've heard that there's one candidate that would like to use tax dollars to support private schools. Is that candidate Dan Weber?
Well, like I said, Dan Weber is definitely in support of public education. This country was not based on private schools. There are those who have gone to private schools and they have excelled, but most of the excellent people, those people that are aware of the problems that exist in this community and are coming up with solutions for these problems, have attended public schools. There you have an opportunity to interact with all of the different races and the creeds, all of the different colors, and all of the different cultures that are so beautiful that helps make America a beautiful place. Dan Weber's had an opportunity not only in Washington, D.C., but from his home, and especially here in District 6, where he has had an opportunity to know that public education is the key to building a strong foundation for our great country.
Will he represent all of us?
Well, he should. If he doesn't, we know how to contact Dan Weber. We know that all we have to do is pick up the phone. All we have to do is write him a letter. Dan Weber will be responsive to the needs of those of us here in this community. I love his stand on voting rights because he knows how important it is for all of us Americans to have an opportunity to register, and how important it is to make these people that do register, how important it is for them to go out and vote. And he's going to work on some opportunities and some plans to increase the different easier ways for people to register to vote so that all of us will be represented. Now, Dan Weber, he said he's going to do it. He's worked on doing it. He's built a strong foundation to make sure that this community, that this state, and especially this district, will be best represented by Dan Weber. Now, Tuesday, May the 10th, we have an opportunity to go to the polls and to vote. I I beg you to go there and to vote for the candidate that we can respond, that will be responsive to the needs of this community.
I haven't seen the other candidate over here. Does that mean he's not counting on any minority votes or votes from the
I have no idea what the other candidate may have in his mind, but I do know that we will have an opportunity. We will have the chance. We do have someone that is running for this office that will be concerned not only about Northeast Oklahoma City, but about the entire district, especially when the opportunities come up for economic and advancement, especially when the opportunities come up to help people to register to vote, especially when the opportunities come up to improve our community. Dan Weber's a young man, has a young man's dream, and that energy and that enthusiasm should really boil down to the fact that he can help this community. So Tuesday is a big day, May the 10th. I look forward to going there and making my little mark and voting for Dan Weber.
The following has been a paid political announcement paid for by Weber for Congress. So many of you have called me this week, and let me thank you for my birthday flowers, my cards, and my gifts, and I want to thank you. You made my birthday certainly one that I shall always remember.
Well, can I ask how old you are?
You don't have to ask how old I am, because I can certainly tell you that I'm old enough to say thanks to everyone.
All right.
On last Monday night, I had the opportunity to go to the Board of Education. You remember we just found out Saturday morning that they would be voting on the naming of the new elementary school. Letty Ruth Hunter and I went together, and I would like for Letty Ruth to call me because I want to let her share her views of the meeting. When we got to the Board of Education, we found out that the schedule, the thing had already been, it was a cook and dry issue as I see it, because only presentation it was to vote on the approval of naming the school Thelma R. Parks. We signed up to speak, and I would also like to congratulate Dr. Freddie Cudjoe and others that made a great presentation from the late Mr. Cudjoe. We signed up to speak, and we were last on the agenda, as we always are. But Mrs. Parker had a well-organized group of people there supporting her. I have never heard so much in all my life before about what Thelma R. Parks had done for this city. I was shocked at some of the information that was put out. She was called a great civil rights leader. And I went back through the pages of those that had signed for various reasons, and I saw no record of Thelma R. Parks participating in the sit-ins of the 60s, the sanitation strikes. I had no record of Thelma Parks coming out for anything that was against the power structure. I did have records of her walking out the board meetings at voting time. I did have records of her supporting the school system. I saw her in Washington, D.C. as she stood with the Board of Education to defeat the Dow plan. I did not have that information, but Reverend W.B. Parker had it. And did he speak for Thelma Parks? He told them about one of the greatest counselors in the school system and one of the great teachers. As Reverend Parker spoke, I thought about other counselors that I had known in the school system. I thought of others that had worked so hard. And then the great shocker came as the president of the coalition, the civil coalition, Mr. Theodis Payne, came and spoke about what he knew. City. I wonder if they had information about the eminent F.D. Moon, the eminent Shirley Darrell, Freddie Williams, Dr. Muse that had served on the Board of Education. But then I saw it all. One board member recommended that the school should be named after Ralph Ellison and presented a great argument because we know that Ralph Ellison was certainly a great leader in the literary field. Then I had the opportunity to speak. And let me tell you what I say. I looked at those board members and I went back through memory. When we went to the Board of Education and asked them about integrating the schools, I remember the smiles on their faces as they went from court to court to keep the schools segregated. I looked out there in the audience and I saw black principals and black administrators, and I remember the days when we went down asking the Board of Education, asking the superintendent of schools to hire blacks in those positions, but now they were seated firmly in their jobs. And I went, and these are the words, more or less, that I said. I appreciate the fact that we have black educators. And I have listened with a great deal of interest as various ones have told about educators. But I'm a black woman, born of America and born of her dreams and her aspirations. And I'm black enough to know that educators, black educators have not led the fight for social changes in America. Name for me one black educator with the exception of Emma Lou Freeman in the state of Oklahoma that has stood up and said it's right that this system must be changed. And I challenge those of you out in radio audience to do it. Name one for me that stood up. Name one. So therefore, if I respect educators, but today I know what has happened as far as black people in America. It was a black girl, not a black educator, stood in front of the United States Supreme Court named Linda Brown. And it was a Linda Brown's case paid for by the NAACP that integrated the schools in America. It was 9 white men dressed in long black robes that ruled on the Linda Brown case, a child, not an educator that knew the philosophies of great leaders, not an educator that had read the white man's books and tried to act like the white man. It was Linda Brown. And then it was not an educator that got on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, tired feet, no degrees hung around her neck. It was Rosa Parks that took a seat for freedom and made it possible for black people like me to ride anywhere on a bus. And then I say, it was not educators that led the fight in Oklahoma City to integrate the staff, the principals, the teachers, the janitors, name it. It was not an educator, yet the educators were working in the system. But it was Dr. A.L. Dow, an optometrist, that stood up. All because he stood up, he bore the pains of criticism. And tonight, I've joined in coming here, standing up and letting you know as the members of the Board of Education how I feel about Dr. Dial. And I had a large number of people that had signed petitions. And then Letty Ruth Hunter spoke, and I wish that Letty Ruth would call me, because I want Letty to tell you herself what she told the Board of Education. And I know she's going to call me. No, Letty's going to Chandler somewhere to a funeral. Well, not. Then I will tell you what Letty said. Letty said I was a campaign manager for Thelma R. Parks, and I do not come here against her. I know her. But I also know that it was Dr. Dial. And I know these schools have been called the Dial schools. Schools at risk. But now we come to the moment of naming a school, and I come here to ask you to name that school after Dr. A.L. Dow. Letty Ruth Hunter went on and talked about some of the other great educators in Oklahoma City, how other teachers had worked and how she had worked as a teacher. And she stood there with tears in her eyes and asked them to vote for Dr. A.L. Dow. Then the president of the board told us something, and I shall never forget that. because I had always respected Leo Heiss, the president. He said, I don't care how many people, we don't care how many petitions, how many people, what have you. Only the Board of Education can decide who to name a school after. Only the Board of Education can decide. And then the voting started. The vote was 3-4. And when they got to Thelma R. Parks voted for herself. And consequently, the new school is to be named after Thelma R. Parks.
Well, Mom, that just goes to show that this is a sad day for Oklahoma City, for Oklahoma City Public Education. Mrs. Parks was my teacher.
And
Mrs.
she was
Parks,
a good teacher.
And she was a good teacher. Mrs. Parks
So
was a good
Jill,
counselor.
so was Mrs. Cooper.
Well, let me finish now.
Okay,
You know, I
okay.
can understand Mrs. Parks wanting to see a school named after her, but it was really sad for me to hear. I didn't make the Tuesday meeting, but I do know that Saturday prior to that, there at the Jazz Festival, there were thousands of people down there. I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of hundred people, and during parts of that conversation, the naming of the school did come up, but nobody really thought that Mrs. Parks would actually vote for herself to name the school after that. And since Tuesday, the reaction that I felt has been everybody's really been disappointed in the fact. Now, I know that a school naming really doesn't make the school, but I do know this, that we have ignored those people who have sacrificed, who've done the most to help this community. We ignore that. We consistently do that. We ignore it, and it's going to be the same way as it was during the urban renewal crisis. We forgot to take care of our own business and to take care of those who would help us to get to where we are. Dr. Dowell, I apologize for those of us who wanted the school named after you that didn't get to the school board meeting, but we felt that the school should be named after you. Mrs. Parks, I want to thank you for being my teacher, but I want you to know that I am really disappointed in the fact that they named the school after you. I know that you are qualified, but I also know that Dr. Dowell is a young man that sacrificed so much, so very much, to make this community a better place. And there's no comparison in what you could have given and what he's given. But then that's my opinion, and that's the opinion I know of hundreds of people, hundreds of students, former students here in this educational system from Oklahoma City, and we feel like that it should be named that. But like the school board president said, we named the school, and y'all just go along with it. It's like the urban renewal board said, we, and the city council at that time said, we make the decisions, you go along with it. And that's the problem, until somebody can stand up and stand up for what is right, till somebody can give back to this community what they've taken away from it, then we're going to have a definite problem continually. And it's sad, and this is a sad day for Oklahoma City. It's a sad day for the Oklahoma City Public Schools, because you've done well, but then there's someone that has done better.
Well, Wayne Dempsey made a long speech. He talked about how great the schools were in Oklahoma City. He talked about neighborhood schools and what they had done. All he talked about is we have a lot of old schools that we could name after someone else. Wayne Dempsey. Who is Wayne Dempsey? Somebody asked me. Wayne Dempsey is a member of the Board of Education. Wayne Dempsey is the one that spoke and told everybody that I'm voting for Thelma R. Parks. Well, there are some questions. I called the president of the Board of Education, and I've asked for the following information. We've got to be able to write something down when we point at that school and tell them exactly what Thelma Parks has done. And I would like to ask those of you out in radio land to write down for me and send to me so that I can read that to the public, because I don't know, but I do know that there are 3 elementary schools: Martin Luther King, Polk School, Longfellow School, and now you're building a school on 30th and whatever that street is.
Well, you know,
Prospect.
is the die cast? Is there anything that we could do to change it?
Oh,
no.
I'm not talking about that.
Well, then let's
I'm
go
talking
ahead
about
on.
where are the students coming from that's going to the new school? Are you going to close Martin Luther King? Are you going to close Polk? Are you going to close Longfellow? How can a community like ours on the east side afford, and where they say we can't have any more busing, but where are these kids coming from? And those are some questions that we are going to be looking at, and we are going to be looking at the record, because the people should know about Thelma Parks, public service. Her move, every move will be like that of other public officials. They will be looking at the thing straight.
Well, Mom, you know, what you
to,
can look forward to is Thelma Park School being named that. Then there will be Wayne Dempsey Garage named. All these kind of things.
Let me tell you the technical part of it. And I question the constitutionality of the process. For example, if an issue would come up at the Board of Education where a board member has some financial interest in a project, that Board of Education member could not vote on that because it concerns finance. But when it comes to naming a school, then the board, every member of the Board of Education can vote. I think if one is right, then the other one is right, and if one is wrong, I think it's unconstitutional, and I would like to see that tested in court. Just because the Board of Education has that policy, it's not that Clara Luper's going to believe it, because I asked a question down there, where were all those white people that were speaking for Thelma when we were down there fighting for the integration of schools? I'll tell you where they were. They were at home praying that the schools would not be integrated.
Well, we got to thank Dr. Dow, though, for his sacrifices.
I thank Dr. Dow.
We can't change it? What
Don't
are we
tell me
going to
what
do?
we can't do. I'm not saying that we can change it. You sound just like people that you sound like George Wallace, who said that we were talking about the integrating schools, he said, never, never, never.
Well,
but I'm talking about whether or not this community, we didn't use the sense of the people in South Africa. For example, look at South Africa and look at Oklahoma City. South Africa did not forget the man that made it possible for them to vote, Nelson Mandela.
Well, that's South Africa, Mama. People in South Africa are much different than the people in Oklahoma City. Yeah. In Oklahoma City, there's a lackadaisical attitude about what goes on publicly, and it's a proven fact. If somebody can sit back and let the thing continually happen over the last 15 years and not voice their opinions and not stand up for it, then what can you expect? You can do anything you want to if you're a public official to the Northeast Oklahoma City community.
I've got to tell this.
So just sit back, relax,
Urban League, I'm not going to relax.
Well,
Urban League sent a letter of endorsement for Thelma R. Parks. Now, I would like for Mr. Theodis Payne to let us know when the next coalition meeting is, because I don't believe that he was speaking for the coalition. Maybe he was just speaking because the Lord told him to speak. Well, anyway.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
His wonders to perform.
And especially here in Oklahoma City. Because we can see history. We see history here, and we ignore our own history.
But you aren't going to have anybody else talking out. I've been trying to get somebody out to the House of Representatives Senate to speak for toilets on the turnpike. I haven't heard one representative say we should put toilets on the turnpike. Yet when I go to Tulsa, I've got to pay how much now? I think it's $2.50.
$2.50.
I've got to pay $2.50.
What about when you go to Lawton?
And when I go to Lawton, I've got to pay twice. I got to pay when I get on the turnpike, the Bailey Turnpike, and then I got to pay in the middle of it. But there are no toilets. Now, anybody, and I can, maybe I'm beginning to understand, because if you don't care nothing about toilets, knowing that nature has to have its course, and saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, to the Turnpike Authority and the people, then I don't know. But anyway, this is Clara.
Well, there are many trees on the turnpike. There are many trees, but nobody can get to it. But then we don't have to worry about that, Mom, because
we're
just citizens. All we can do is fuss, and bring the issue up, and nobody's going to make any difference.
How about our elected officials? If I had one that would represent us and tell us that we need some toilets on the turnpike, well, maybe they fly over to Tulsa and it doesn't make any difference. Calvin?
So many good things can happen and do happen in this city. You know, there are those people who are doing good things, doing great things. There's a project going on this weekend that is going to help beautify this community, and the Zonta, Z-O-N-T-A Club of Oklahoma City, which is a service organization of business and professional women working to raise money for community services. Now, what they're having is a plant sale. Now, that plant sale started on May the 6th and go through the 8th. They'll be selling geraniums and many bedding plants. Now, they have several different locations. One at the Metro Glass parking lot, 5859 Northwest Expressway. Then there's one that I've seen that's really beautiful. They have about a whole yard full of beautiful bedding plants of all colors and all varieties, and that's at 4401 North Everest Avenue. Now, this sale is to raise money for the scholarship and the Infant Crisis Center. The plants are from the Center of Family Love Greenhouse here at Okarche, Oklahoma, which is a home for the adult handicapped. Now, the plants are ready for you. All you have to do is go by 4401 North Everest Avenue or there at 5859 Northwest Expressway. Now, there's a young lady that's involved in that program, and they're having the plant sale there in her front yard, and that's Mrs. Willie Rose, the past president of the Zonta Club of Oklahoma City. We here at the Clara Luper Radio Show, and we that want to make our community a beautiful place, want you to go by 4401 North Everest Avenue. Pick up some of those bedding plants, put them in your yard. Help make this community a beautiful and a much better place. This is their 23rd sale, too.
Thank you, Calvin. And this portion of our program is being brought to you by your Allstate insurance agent, Merlin Hildred. If it's insurance you need, guess who we should call, Calvin?
843-08111. Hello, Merlin. And then someone will tell you that Merlin Hildred's on another line right now. She's working with a customer. Well, you say, Merlin, I need some car insurance. I need some home insurance, some life insurance. I need to take care of my investments. And I bet you they're at Allstate Insurance, that office, they're at 701 701 North, what?
Britton Road.
Britton Road. That's where
right.
it is, 701 North Britton Road. But that phone number, 843-0811, you get courier service, you get fast service, and you know that you're talking with someone that's concerned about the well-being of your family and your insurance needs. Merlin Hildred with Allstate Insurance, the very best agent that there is.
Happy Mother's Day comes from Edwards Redeemer, located at 1530 Northeast Grand Boulevard. If you're looking for a home away from home for your relatives or your friends, be sure and call 424-2273. Go out to Edwards Redeemer, 1530 Northeast Grand Boulevard, where you will find certified help. Everything will be all right. That's Edwards Redeemer, 1530 Northeast Grand Boulevard.
I know the people there at Gates Barbershop are getting ready. You know, Mother's Day is a very special day in this entire community. One place that those of us who need those special haircuts and like to look good, we need to go by Gates Barbershop. Now, at Gates Barbershop, I love going there, Mom, because Mr. Gates is so nice, and then the environment is so beautiful
nice.
there, you know, and then you can't help but feel good because you know that you go in there looking a little bad, but you know when you come out of Gates Barbershop, you be looking good.
And
now,
Cecil Williams used to say, like a black
man should. Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue, and say, if you want to improve your appearance, Gates Barbershop is the place to go. He has some people there that work with him that help too.
Mr. Gamba and others. Calvin, I would like to take this opportunity once again to thank all of you that have volunteered to give scholarships, prizes, and gifts to the Miss Oklahoma contestants. Those of you that still would like to go on record of doing something special, like to peep out the pin, jewelry, like others, I would like for you to call me at 424-3949. Charles Dupree. You know Charles?
Yeah, Charles Dupree.
Is giving a scholarship
Way
to
to
the
go,
Miss Black
Dupree.
Oklahoma contestants.
You know, that's a talented young man here. I'm so glad to see Charles. Thanks so much, and I know that the contestants appreciate it. I wonder if he's going to give one in a specific area.
I don't know.
Charles can sing.
Charles can sing. I can tell you that. Dr. Griffin is also giving an academic scholarship, and this is the first time we've ever had an academic scholarship. Well, it's Mother's Day. Call me at 672-1220. Now, I don't want all this stuff about Happy Mother's Day. I love my mother and all that. If you love your mother, you will keep yourself out of trouble. If you love your mother, you will dedicate yourself to doing what's right. And if you want to call me here at 672 What's the telephone number?
672-1220.
And tell me that you're going to do what's right because your mother taught you what's right. I want you to call me. I don't want you to say, I love my mother, and then I see you down there peeping out the jail cell asking your mother for some money to get you out of jail. If you love your mother, you won't steal, you won't kill anybody, you won't curse, you won't fight. Now, if you're here, call me. My name is Clara Luper, and this is a Clara Luper radio show.
I know that the young people there at the Chauncey Chardina's daycare center, that they're getting ready to help their mothers have a very special Mother's Day because they're at the right place to learn the great things. And their mothers have made a point. Mrs. Matthews, thank you so much. I want to say a happy Mother's Day to you too. But Chauncey Chardina's daycare center, 1643 Northeast 50th Street. Call and they can tell you a lot more about it. 424-4656.
I want to hear. I have 10 minutes and I want to hear.
672-1220. That's the number to call.
Hello?
To wish a Mother's Day program.
Don't come telling the Happy Mother's Day and you love your mother. You tell me how you're going to prove it. Hello?
Well, we're working here.
Yeah, we should have it.
Well,
everything should be all right. If you love your
Happy Mother's Day, Nyla Jewel Phillips.
Oh, yes.
Happy Mother's Day.
And Nyla Jewel Phillips is also on that staff of Miss Black Oklahoma. She is a special consultant to the CEO. Hello?
Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to y'all.
Fantastic.
This is Brother John Henderson.
Hello, Brother John Henderson. This is Calvin Luper.
All right, Calvin Luper.
Calvin.
I thought you want to be Clara's son?
Okay, John?
Yes, Miss Luper.
Mother's Day.
Tell me what you're going to tell me about how much you love your mother to such an extent you aren't getting into trouble.
Oh, well, I love my mother so much because she taught me right from wrong long time ago. I'm over 40, by the way. And
what's your mother's name, John?
My mother's name is Queen Esther.
Queen Esther.
Yeah, she had one of them biblical names.
Fantastic.
And,
we want to wish her a happy Mother's Day, too. Thank you so much for calling,
I have one more
John.
question.
Okay.
I've been trying to find a song. It's called Mother Pray For Me.
Yes. We have it here, I believe.
And I've been trying to get somebody to play it. I went down to Herbert's. I called Herbert's
Well,
Gospel.
have no fear. You call the right show. I think we have it over there, and we'll play it right near the end of it. But we want a lot more calls to come in. But, John, I want to thank you for calling in and saying Happy Mother's Day to your mother. Queen Esther, Happy Mother's Day
and
to
happy
you,
birthday to Miss Clara Luper. Happy Mother's Day, Miss Luper.
Well, thank you so very kindly. If you love your mother, you will not join a gang. You will not fight. Thank you for calling. Hello? Yes, hello?
You know, Mom, I know that there at the hometown IGA, 2001 Northeast 23rd, they're having a special Mother's Day sales, too. But we want everyone out there to do your best this Mother's Day. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show.
Yes. If you love your mother, you sure won't steal. You sure won't kill. You sure won't curse. You sure won't cut those glasses. You can't jive me. Now, don't try to jive me and say, I love my mother, and you're doing everything to make your mother...
Welcome to
Hello?
Yes, welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show. And who would you like to wish a happy Mother's Day to?
I don't want him wishing it to nobody until he tells me exactly what he's going to do for his mother.
Hello?
Yes?
Hello, Miss Luper?
Yes.
Calvin?
Yes.
This is Doc Walker.
Hello, Doc Walker.
I want to say a belated happy birthday to you, Mama, and wish you a happy Mother's Day along with my mother and all other mothers. I'm recovering from surgery. I want you all to know that the Lord's blessed me and I'm still doing well.
But what are you going to do to make your mother happy?
Well, I'm going to be sitting here smiling. I have a card for her. We're sitting looking at each other at this particular moment, Miss Luper.
Have you caused her any grief?
I have in my lifetime, and I've asked her to forgive me.
Well, apologize to her right now.
Mother, I apologize to you for all you, and you too, Mama, for the grief that I have caused my mother and other mothers as a son.
And you aren't going to do it anymore?
I promise that I will not do it again.
Thank you.
Way to go, Doc Walker.
Thank
you so much for calling here on the Clara Luper Radio Show. You know, we look forward to your calls, and the big thing is, what are you going to do for your mother? That's a good question.
That's right. See, what happened, these people will go and they'll steal, they'll kill, they'll join gangs and everything. Some have a mother, you can't hold them. They just screaming, oh, I love my... If you love your mother, prove it. Hello?
Yes, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my grandma.
Well, just a minute. We want to welcome you to the radio show, but we want to know, what are you going to do to help make your Mother's Day a very special day? What are you going to do?
Am I on the radio?
Yes, you're on the radio. What are you going to do to help your mother have a very special Mother's Day?
I'm gonna fix her something.
Sure, you're going to fix her something, but what are you going to do to make her happy?
I'm gonna do better in school.
Well, that sure will make her happy because you don't love your mother if you're not doing well in school and she's working and sending you to school and you aren't doing well.
Oh,
Okay, well, I want you to get out there and get those books and prove to your mother that you love her, okay?
What's your name?
Gabriel Williams,
And your mother's name?
Joyce. Well, she's not my mother, but she's been there like a mother. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my grandma, Joyce Cade.
Okay.
But don't make her unhappy.
Miss Gay, we know, you heard him say it, we know that you're going to have a very special Happy Mother's Day because this Mother's Day, everyone is going to do the best that they can. They're going to do better.
Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Yeah,
Hello?
we're having fun over there. Poor Dean, he's having a difficult morning. But Dean, we want you to know, too, that we appreciate your efforts and what you're doing, and especially wish your mom a very happy Mother's Day. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show. Well, Mom,
Okay.
we have a few minutes left.
Well, see, what we've got to understand, I'm going to buy Mama a present. I'm going to do this. But what you really need to do for your mother is to do what she's taught you to do. Let's go over. You're not going to steal. You're not going to kill. You're not going to curse. You're going to school, and you're going to do what your mother has taught you to do. Now, this is all I am asking of you, because I get so tired of people saying, I love my mother. My mother has to go borrow money to get you out of jail, to get somebody to go your bond, and you say, I love my mother. I just made a mistake. You made a whale of a mistake, and love is something that will make people happy.
Well, Mom, a lot of times after you've made that mistake, you want to apologize, and you do apologize. But then you still can wish your mom a happy Mother's Day, not only because it's tradition.
Not on this show. I want you to wish your mother a happy Mother's Day if you're living up to what your mother has taught you to do. I'm not going to furnish an avenue for you to hypocrite. If you love your mother, you get in those books. You respect her, respect her family, and respect yourself.
Well,
Hello?
I know if Dan Weber's
mother. All right?
Yes, we're coming through, but I know if Dan Weber's mother had an opportunity to hear him say, I know that she's extremely proud of her son who's running for Congress and needs your vote on May 10th. Dan Weber for Congressman, paid political announcement.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to make a Happy Mother's Day deal.
Well, you're at the right place at the right time. What are you going to do to make your mother happy this Mother's Day?
Well, I'm going to get a card, and I'm going to do things that she wants me to do and make her happy.
Okay, and your mother's name and your name?
Linda Henderson.
Happy Mother's Day, Mrs. Henderson, from your son, and your son's name is?
J.T. Henderson.
J.T.
And
Thank you.
I'd like to make another mother. She's like a mother to me. Her name is Brendalyn Brooks.
Brendalyn Brooks, okay.
Okay.
What are you going to do for Miss Brooks, Mrs. Brooks?
Make her happy, too.
You'll make her happy, too.
Okay, now, let me go back over so you young people can say what you want to, but you cannot make your mothers happy stealing, writing on walls, talking about you a member of a gang. You don't make your mother happy. You make your mother happy by doing the things that you're supposed to do. As I look at the clock on the wall, I must go back through the pages of memory. And I want to thank God today for my mother, and naturally I tried to make her happy. She wanted me to go to school. I went to school. My mother never had to go up to the school to see about me. She didn't have a discipline problem. My mother was kind. My mother was humble. My mother was sweet. But now my mother sleeps in yonder's grave. And tomorrow I will not wear a white rose in her memory. Rather, I would wear a red rose because my mother lives today. She lives in the heart of those of us that loved her so much. Her name was Isabel Shepard. And as the days roll around, her words still echo, help somebody, Clara, be kind, be understanding. And now I would like to say thank God for my mother. Calvin, the clock on the wall is saying to us that we are going to have to leave now, and I hope I've given you something to think about.
You've given me a lot to think about, Mom, but I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day and to make a promise to you that Merlin, Shelley, and I, and Harold, all of us, we're going to do better. We're going to help make your life a lot more easier and a lot better because, Mom, we love you.
That love